Let me tell you why it's such a good morning. Well, trees are eating up all that CO2. Yeehaw! Make sure you eat a lot of beans and add to the growth of our vegetation. Yes, no, your lies, your global warming, your pseudoscience, it's all lies, it's lies, it's lies, it's lies, it's lies. You're liars. You poor folks that live in the city that don't understand basics, you know. I don't know what the poor folks in the city are going to do without any pipelines. I mean, they turn on their tap. Well, isn't that a pipeline feeding them water? You know, they take a dump. Isn't that a pipeline getting rid of their excrements? And where are these people dumping in the big city? I think Toronto has a waste treatment plant. But are there other cities on that St. Lawrence Seaway that don't? And you guys are eating the frickin' fish out of that. Look at Victoria. Been pooping in the ocean forever and ever. Oh, it's crazy. Well, that was a fun and exciting election. I really enjoyed it. And if I had to do it again, I would definitely vote PPC. Definitely. I was one of the... It was the PPC voters in my riding. That was one of the ridings that the reason they didn't, Scheer didn't get in. My cousin riding, which is just right across the street from me. It's funny, I'm right on this border. We all used to be the same riding, but somebody decided to change it up for some reason. I don't know. But yeah, no, they got the blue over there, and we got the orange over here. And I don't mind Canning. I mean, he's whatever. I don't have the same views as the NDP. That's who got it here. But yeah, the Conservative was about as many votes short as voted for PPC in my riding. But here's the problem. And I'll tell you right now, there was no way I was going to vote for that Connie woman that was running as the Conservative. There was no way. None. I would have been back to my old ways. Well, there's nobody to vote for. What's the use? What's the use in voting if you have nobody to vote for? You might as well just put your head down, your ass up, and your nose grinding to the grindstone, and mind your own fucking business and forget about, these creeps. But the only problem I'm having is not one Canadian is secure. All right? Nobody here is secure in their person. Nobody here is secure in their property. Nobody here is secure. We don't have a de jure constitution, which is why I'm so excited about Alberta finally starting to get serious about this. So I did want to just go over a couple of things. Alberta doesn't have a constitution, okay? What they run on is pretty much what is English common law, okay? So pretty much the unwritten story that hey, like we've always been free, everyone has a right, so on and so forth, which is why they had to, when British Parliament, okay, wrote this Constitution. Pierre Elliott Trudeau didn't write it. What's up, sweetheart? Are you on your way to work? Okay, I'll see you later.
Well.
I'm fixing brakes this morning. All right. So Pierre Elliott didn't write it. Queen didn't write it. Anyways, it's just too funny. But it was written by another body corporate for this body corporate, the parent company to Canada. Okay. Canada is a corporation. I'm pretty sure everybody knows that. I notice Doug's stuff is getting out more and more, which is pretty cool because everybody needs to understand this. Nobody is safe and nobody is secure, except for the fact that we are a common law land. We are a Judeo-Christian nation. We have a history and a precedence and the customs of it. So far, that's the only thing basically that you have. But could you imagine having a constitution that forces a man or a woman to act as a certain person. Could you imagine having a constitution that forces somebody to be in servitude of a body of folks 3,000 miles away that you've never met before, that's telling you that what's good for you and what's not good for you? Oh, well, that's most of Europe and Russia, by the way. That's called Napoleonic civil law. Now, Quebec is by jure, so Quebec has their Napoleonic civil law, but they are trumped by common law as long as they're acting within the nation here. So common law still stands. Now, the Quebecer has the option of whether he wants to go civil. Now here, out west, what they try to do is force you, intimidate you, extort you, browbeat you into acting as the person that they wish you to be, so that they can benefit you. All right? And like I always told you guys, use a plural. Okay? It's plural. There's a person attached to you, always. Okay? That's why I like I. You know, guys should learn how to talk Old English. You and I do not wish. It's not the wish of I. All right? And wishing, to wish and to believe is basically mankind's property. No government can force a man what to believe. And no court can what to wish. You know? Well, they try to. And they try to attack you through your person. But I wanted to just talk mostly about Alberta. Come on, you gotta have a constitutional conference. Well, it's going to take many constitutional conferences before you can have your constitutional convention. Saskatchewan, you got to do the same thing, man. If you people are serious. If it's just a wave of bitching and complaining, yeah, and everybody's going to run around and donate some money to this cause and that cause, and then the guys in the suits, the legal society comes along and say, yeah, we're the ones here on your behalf again. Well, then it goes out of the hand of the people, and the elitists will take over and screw you. So I'm going to do a series of constitutional talks, I guess. Okay. Now this is the Constitution of Canada, okay? This is a corporate document on how the Corporation of Canada is to run when it runs as a de facto government. And that's what it is. Go online, like they used to, you know, the Governor General's site used to be right on there, and they tell you straight up. They're taking shit down because they don't want you to know. Why would the government, or these government actors, take stuff off their official websites to hide it from you and I? Okay, to hide it from us. To hide it from everybody. Because they don't want you to know, man. Alright, so the Governor General's website used to plainly say that Canada is a de facto government. Okay, so before they take it down off the Lieutenant Governor's website, you go look at the BC one, I know for sure, and it says the Lieutenant Governor is a corporate soul. Look at the Interpretation Act of Canada. Person includes corporation. The inclusion of one is the exclusion of all others. Basic English and grammar, which they don't wish to teach at school. They don't want anybody in school knowing what their rights are. What they want to do, or what they are doing to us, the elitists, the elitists, okay, the establishment, what they are doing is they're keeping everybody dumb enough and hating each other. You're so busy being fished in. That's what we used to call people when you sucked them in as a kid. We go, hey, fish, right? And you're so busy being fished in to hate your neighbor, to hate your cousin. The Maritimes are so busy hating West. I mean, everybody's just hating everybody. Who's feeding the fish that are all getting reined into this hate? I mean, seriously, man. We've never had a proper discussion. We've never had a proper debate. in the science of oh, I'm not going to go there, global warming, and I mean, it's all bullshit. They're feeding you guys shit, just like the cities on the St. Lawrence are doing. They're feeding the fish that you're eating shit. And I believe that everybody down east, you should have to pay for every whale that gets destroyed by a tanker. Okay, so let's just presume that it's the tankers killing all the frickin' whales there. Now, what are you going to do about it? Something like 40 of those whales left? I forget the name of them. You guys just don't give a shit? Anyways. So, Constitution. Here. Now, let me show you the trickery in the Constitution. You got your copy? Now, whenever you go online to get a copy of the Constitution, make sure it goes up to all the articles. They love to give you the short form. Why? Because they wish to keep the whole Constitution away from you. Just like the Governor General's website, taking it off about the de facto government. Right? Well, why are they hiding this shit? So that they can control everyone. Why does everybody hate everybody in Canada right now? Because they set us all up so they can control us. They cause all the derision in this country, okay? It should go up there. That's where it should go to. So it should go to Article 61. All right? That's the full 1982 Constitution Charter of Rights. Okay, I think the short form one they give you online is 38. And here's why they don't want you to see this. And I'll just point a couple things out. Just before I get into showing you the trickery of legalese. This is legalese, guys. Okay? This wasn't written by you and I. It wasn't, we didn't have a constitutional conference over this. It was written by a corporate body for a corporate body. You have no constitutional rights. Unless, of course, you're an officer of the corporate body. One of those persons. Which they wish to try and force you into. Okay, so I'm going to read this backwards. Section 52. Article 1, 52.1. The Constitution of Canada is the supreme law of Canada, and any law that is inconsistent with the provisions of the Constitution is to no force, or, sorry. So, and any law that is inconsistent with the provisions of the Constitution is, to the extent of its inconsistency, of no force or effect. That's Article 52. That's why they don't like showing you the full Constitution. Now, right at the beginning, the Preamble. Well, I'll go to Article 1. Okay, the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms guarantees the rights and freedoms set out in subject only to such reasonable limits prescribed by law as can be demonstrably justified in a free and domestic society, or free and democratic society. That's their first trickery. Okay, now in the Preamble, it's whereas God is founded upon the principles that recognize the supremacy of God and the rule of law. Now, the supremacy in God and rule of law is very, very important because we have thousands of years of the basic understanding that God made man and man made government to protect property of man. That's their sole function. That's the government's function. This is where they're supposed to serve mankind. And they fall short. I mean, they're using your person to attack you and to take your stuff, okay? To attack you, take your property, to take your access to public lands away, to interfere with your right to do a vlog on a public sidewalk without getting muscled by so-called fucking officers of, you know, I don't know what officer. I didn't see any badges when they tackled Menzies. That was bullshit. Any politician that wants to, you know, that poor grandmother in Quebec, like that really pissed me off. They had no right to touch her, man. And for her, there's a tort. You know, and she's civil law, you know, they love their civil law in Quebec. I would get lawyers on there, and yeah, there should be a tort, man. In common law, there's a beautiful tort, and it's called outrageous. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You won't find it in say statutory law. And so there are statutory torts as well as common law torts, right? And outrageous is good. But anyways, okay, so let's just get on now. The writing of the Alberta Constitution is so very, very important. First off, it must be in English, not legalese. English, wow, we're bilingual. No, Alberta. English, not legalese. You guys have to know the difference between English and legalese. Two different languages. Legalese is spoken in terms, English is spoken in words. The English definition. So that would be, I would keep the, you know, whereas the Republic of Alberta recognizes that God created all mankind equal. Now, just because all mankind's equal, that's how I would start it. Just because all mankind is equal doesn't mean that we're the same, or that we're not unique in ourselves. But everyone is born with a soul, a spirit, and a body, with mind, will, and emotions. All right, and we're all born naked. And those of us whose mother ate of this land came from this land. And there's your equality. This is why land ownership is considered slavery. And this is why, you know, this is why the legal society they hate the word property, because they have no authority over property, okay, over any man's property. You know, as the golden rule, like as basic rule, it depends, like what the hell's going on for the most part. But I mean, the government has no authority over any feminine or masculine man's property, unless they have a higher claim to it. I don't have no claim to your property. So I have no problem with that. Slavery should be out straight up. Slavery is outlawed in all its forms on this land. Straight up. That would be my Article 2. Now here's I just want to show you guys some of the trickery in this one. Okay, so Article 1, before I go on with what I think should be in the Republic's Constitution. Article 1. The article, and I read this already, but the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms guarantees the rights and freedoms set out in it, subject only to such reasonable limits prescribed by law as can be demonstrably justified in a free and democratic society. So first off, the trickery on Article 1 is that you have to be part of this society, okay, to be identified as having these rights, certain rights and freedoms. Now here's the thing, when you're part of Canada, and don't get all weird about it, but when you're part of Canada, you are now an officer within the corporate body, okay? The corporate body politic, but that corporation, okay? So you now are a person. So then you as an officer of that have to recognize this. You as a person of the corporate body have to recognize these things. And then you can operate under these things because you're part of the office. Now the problem is, well, I don't wish to be seen as part of their free and democratic society that the corporate body has and operates. It's not my wish. I just wish to be naked as a jaybird and seen as a man. Period. Okay, nobody wants to see me naked, trust me. Fat old guys don't look Reminds me of those guys that were looking for some famous new beach. I think it was in Greece. And when they got there, it was full of fat old men. And the one chick that showed up, they all started running towards her. Oh, I don't know if that was a movie or a documentary. I can't remember, but it was too funny. All right, so trickery. Okay? Trickery. Canada is a constitutional monarchy, all right? That's the type of government we have. Okay, the democratic society is the corporation itself. Okay, and that's why, you know, first past the post, the electoral college that we have, that's why everybody votes for leader, that's why everybody votes for their the representative within the corporate body. That's what the elections are about. Right? That's the democratic society that this is talking about. Okay, it's not talking about this Judeo-Christian nation. It's not talking about the common law and the customs of the people. That's totally something different. Okay, that's been enshrined since, you know, enshrined on this land since its inception. I mean, you can go back and you can take a look at, you'll find it in the, you know, in the charter, Hudson's Bay Charter. The Hudson's Bay Charter is no different than this. All right, these are all corporate charters, man. Okay, so there's the trickery. So they're thinking, "Oh, I'm in a free and democratic society." Well, no, I don't wish to be. I just wish to be a man, go from point A to point B on my land. All right, I'm of this land. I have a right to go from point A to point B. So when the cops read you and say, "You understand your charter?" I don't have any charter rights. I have a right endowed to me from my Creator. All right? These rights. And nobody has the right to interfere with my rights. And I have no right to interfere with your rights. Okay? So, your rights are not derived from the corporate body politic. Okay, so they go article number 2, like everyone has the following fundamental rights. So when they say everyone, they mean everyone. Okay, so that'd be persons, that would be mankind, that would be corporate, like actual corporations. Okay, because they are a person as well. So like, you know, the Bay has the same fundamental rights or fundamental freedom as grandma walking down the street there. They got attacked by those terrorists. So that everyone means everyone. All right. Now, the thing is, that's not exactly correct what I just said. And why is it not? Because one is of man. One is, you know, like no matter what, who you are, whether you're like, you know, Big Bang kind of person, what was that one bang, you know, that we come from? It was that one God or one Creator or that one Spirit. So everyone to me actually excludes corporations. It means everyone to me, everyone reads to me. Now, I'm not a legal person. I didn't write this. I don't know the authors of this thing. I can't ask them to verify for me what their intent was. Okay? When they wrote everyone. But my guess is everyone would be more like you know, people who are citizens or people because of everyone, right? You understand what I'm saying? Because of the one part, the oneness. So that could be, you know, landed immigrants. That could be illegal, what they call, you know, people who sneak into the country. That could be new Canadians, old Canadians. You know, everyone. All right, living, breathing, human being kind of thing, right? So the freedom of conscience and religion. Well, I guess what is a corporate conscience? So that's why I don't think it applies to corporations. You know, the corporate conscience, they only have mandates They only have charters. They can only maintain any corporation, any society, any organ. Like the medical society can only maintain a certain position. They can't believe anything. They don't have a conscience. They have a collection of a position that they can maintain, right? And a legal society is definitely one who maintains a position. So freedom of conscience and religion, freedom of thought, belief, opinion, expression, including freedom of the press and other means of communication. So if Twitter and those guys are going to attack people for their communication, I think this is their mandate. They're operating as a corporation within within the jurisdiction of Canada, and for them to be licensed, I don't think they should be allowed to break this. Universities shouldn't be allowed to break this. And so anybody that's attacking for the freedom of press and other means of communication, so telephone and TV and YouTube and Twitter and that, why isn't there a collection of free-thinking folks that takes Twitter to court? Do a class action on that one. Actually, do a bunch of class actions. Well, what do you mean bunch? Well, have a group, say from each province. So we got 10. Every group from each province can do a class action. These guys, well, no, we're not doing the same as them. We're from over here. We're doing this one. No, let them come to court. They're not allowed to break this. This is their rules. This is any corporate body, the government or any corporation that the government allows to operate within the jurisdiction of Canada. Like the minute you open a corporation, the corporation is controlled by the corporate body, Canada. And so anybody operating within that corporation is an officer of Canada. Right? By default. Well, fuck yeah. So anyways, all right, so guys, people should take a look at taking Twitter to court and suing the shit out of them. Freedom of peaceful assembly. Well, corporations can't really assemble, can they? Because they're just paper. Canada can't really do anything because it's just paper. It's this. This is Canada right here. That's what it is. Only those of mankind can assemble. Okay, so it goes from everyone in Article 2. Okay, so here Article 3. Every citizen of Canada. Okay, so a citizen is part of the corporate body and has the right to vote in an election of members of the House of Commons or of a legislative assembly, and has to be qualified for membership therein. So only citizens, by law, by the supreme law of Canada, can only vote within the Democratic and Free Society of Canada. All right? Now remember, you have a nation of Canada, and you have a corporate body of Canada, and you have a de facto government of Canada. So this free and democratic society would be the corporate body politic, right? That's what that is. And so every citizen of the body politic has a right to vote. Wow. And there's no limitations, there's no ads. That's actually, I really like the way Article 3 is written. Because it's just straight up. There's no trickery in here, all right? There's no trickery in there. Okay, like Article 1's trickery. All right. Let's see. So every citizen of Canada, and then back to everyone again. Now I believe this is only living, those of mankind is everyone. That's honestly what I really truly believe. Just from what I've studied, discovered, stood with, so everyone has the right to life, liberty and security of the person.